And welcome back to the second hour of today's show. You are listening to Finding a Voice here on CFRC 101.9 FM, located again in Lower Carruthers Hall, Queen's University, Kingston, Ontario. My name is Bruce, here every Friday from 4 to 6 o'clock. We do stream live online at www.cfrc.ca. I do hope you can stay tuned for the full second hour of this show. Going to feature a book launch and then readings from the September 1st reading at And the Journey Continues monthly open mic reading series. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. Up first, from a September 19th book launch reading at the Tet Center here in Kingston, reading from her latest and just launched collection of poetry. Here is Carolyn Smart reading from Careen, which is immediately followed by a wonderful performance by Georgette Fry. Here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. If you'd like to grab a glass or a plate or both, we're going to get started. I was thinking that the thunder and the lightning would come. It seems like that would be appropriate for Carolyn Smart, but I don't see anything. My name is Julie Salverson, and I'm very honored to be here to introduce Carolyn on this very wonderful day, and to introduce her with a group of people collectively, but also very much individually, who know better than I what a swell dame she is. And how much better Kingston is and Kingston culture is for having her here. So I'm honored to introduce this launching of words. What is it we're doing here together? We're cutting a ribbon. We're toasting a glass. We're saying thank you. But more perhaps than thank you, we're saying welcome. But it's not Carolyn we are welcoming today, not really. Not Carolyn's generosity of heart and spirit, which is boundless, nor her razor-sharp wit, nor her refreshing, I will not take crap, careen through life, not even the depth of her ability to listen. What we're celebrating is Carolyn Smart's work. Now, I teach a class at Queen's to drama students, and the class is about what it is for an artist to witness risky stories. I ask them to witness violence, the nasty bits, the unimaginable. And every year Carolyn visits the class, and every year she is our rock star guest. She knocks them out of the park. And when I was thinking about what to say today, I was trying to figure out why. And it's because of what her work gives to us. Carolyn dive bombs into the darkest of places, and she brings up sweetness. She shows us that those places are alive in all of us. She is fearless in her gaze. Her words are fierce, untamed, beautiful, not pretty, anguished, not sad. She takes no prisoners, this one. She is brave enough to hate and stubborn enough to love. She seeks out the lowest of the low, the cast out, the cast aside. She pays attention. She notices what the rest of us miss. She lays herself down with the dispossessed. She accompanies. Her masterpiece, Hooked, has become a celebrated work of theater because Carolyn's language, and you'll see this today, I think, demands to be performed. But it is more than rhythm and musicality and dialect and her accurate ear. She puts characters on the page whose aliveness is breathtaking, desirous, infinitely demanding something of us. You can't read or listen to Carolyn's work and be a bystander. No such luck. She doesn't console us with sentiment. No noble sufferers. Her characters are broken and beautiful and spit fire. No apologies, no melancholy, whether a mass murderer of children or a busted up outlaw poet. The characters in Carolyn Smart's work defy all odds. They desire and demand, and their brave, futile lives ache with beauty. So here we are today, welcoming a book. You know, we see a lot of books. We see books sadly in the remainder pile. We see them crammed into library shelves. We see them packed in boxes when old people can't take them with them, and the young folks don't know what to do with all those boxes. What is one more book? Well, I took Careen away to a lake in August, and I read it in one go, stumbling around the cottage, sometimes just standing with the book in my hand and shaking my head. It shook me, it exhilarated me, and it restored my faith. And I sent an email to Carolyn, and I said, "What the F have you done to me? Your pages cut through every damn thing, every thought, every feeling. What bloody magnificence you have made." Another poet, Carolyn Smart, writing about the poetry of witness, she says this: "These poems come to us with claims that have yet to be filled, as attempts to mark us as they themselves have been marked." Carolyn Smart's poems come to us with claims. Let us welcome them. My friend, Carolyn Smart.
Hi, everybody. This is really an amazing afternoon, and I'm so pleased that you're here in this stunning room. I, of course, want to thank John Mirsky at the TED for all the work he's put into this. To the fabulous people at Novel Idea, to Oscar and Joanna Milan for all the work they're doing here today with the book sales and the fantastic catering. And of course, Julie, wherever you are, thank you. That was really mind-blowing. I'm going to read 6 poems from this collection now. 6 different voices from the point of view of 6 different kind of either members of the gang or members of their family. And I'm going to start off with a poem from the point of view of the mother of Clyde and Buck Barrow, Kumi Barrow. This is set in the early 30s in the Dust Bowl in Texas. Kumi Barrow. I had one steadfast wish: avoid the idle day. The devil plays upon a fallow soul. Also be a helpmeet to my man, raise the children up right. Pray, choose to live within the dust bowl, sleep beneath the wagon, haul cotton with ribboned hands. Not hard to sweep an earthen floor unless you press your will against the wind, grains speckling your eyes. Taught to read, but only in the Bible. I grew to read the gutters about my children, saw pictures there of widows they made who wore their bridal clothes to funerals. It is no lie there was drinking. There's only so much room for endless grief. Few regrets. I'd look forward to the picnics, red beans and rice, fried chicken in the hand. Shrill cicadas in evening light, listen. Why is my youngest out on the road past midnight? Patience wears thin as skin, gunfire all over this land. A human husk I was, yet fierce till the expected came. Forgiveness if I did not bend, purchased one grave for 2 loved sons. The next is a prose poem written from the point of view of the teenager who rode with the gang for 8 months. W.D. Jones's Tale. I seen Clyde Barrow first when I was 5 years old. We was all camped out beneath the Oak Cliff Viaduct in Dallas, nowheres else to go. My kin, except Mama and my brothers, died of flu, and that's when Mama grew tight to Kumi. They were true friends, those two. We all rode down together, picking cotton all the way, with the aim to beg a judge to let Buck out of jail. Me and L.C., best of buds those days, grew up together doing what all we could. I did not read nor write. Would do anything for money, stealing bikes and such and bigger things. L.C. had his daddy's car one Christmas Eve and we'd been dancing, drinking brew. When L.C.'s brother Clyde said he could use my help, I reckon that was swell. It seemed sort of big to be out there with them, Clyde and Bonnie, famous. It was good to know they could count on me. Within one day, Clyde killed Doyle Johnson, shot him in the face in Temple, Texas, and I had murder on my head. I'd lived but 16 years. When they say Clyde Champion Barrow was the best, hell, I know that, because I rode with him. He drove 1,000 miles if he thought the law was close. No way they'd be caught. They knew their end. Nights I'd see him on his knees, I reckon, praying for his soul or for a longer life. Hell-bent on getting around the law, but sometimes he'd get tired. We used to wear each other's clothes. He was a small man, just like me, quiet as a cat with dogs close. Never wanted dirt upon his skin. Never used bad language, though he had a temper and he and Bonnie sure could fight. 8 months I lasted, till I'd had enough of blood and hell. Near Dexter, Iowa, where Buck and Blanche were caught, I took some buckshot to the face and chest, and I was bleeding out. Heck, all of us were hurt real bad. But Clyde, he done took some farmer's car, and we three lit a shuck right out of town. I left them when they'd healed enough they could get by without me. I hooked it back to Texas and got turned into the law. Did my time, married, found some happiness in life. That damn fool movie made it look so fine, like it was sort of glamorous, our ride, but it were hell. This is a poem from the point of view of Blanche Barrow, who fell in love with Buck and went along for the ride. Blanche remembers the long ride. I used to believe in love, the way believers play their faith, close to the chest, fanning it out when they need it most. I could have used some back there when my mother sold me for a song. A hard-handed man, he broke me, surely. No more hopes for children or a tender word at best. My daddy was a kind man, but so poor he couldn't cope with anything but slow tilling of the dry soil, sun up, sun down, wind that brought the farm indoors. The only thing saved him was his death-like sleep, yet dreams go on. Never expected to find what love was really like, how it pulled me to Buck like a chigger to the hairline, his warm brown eyes, his hands that mastered anything he put his mind to. We had such plans for living, he and I. In some woodland, bright, safe place, far away from all we'd known before, we would be fine and free. We said so, all the nights in tourist camps, lying awake, listening to passing cars. Then the storm of bullets and blood that burst in streams on the floor out of the dead upon their backs. Who could ever have reckoned how bad it would become? The nights I'd sit up on the car and watch the stars, taste of terror in my throat and gore on my thin hands. Some nights I could not see the moon for all the horror in the way. Or maybe it was hunger, or the endless sleepless days when all we had was fame, not the kind I ever wanted. Outlaw woman. They didn't even know my real name. I would have gone most anywhere with Buck, but they would not let me be there at the end. Both of us broken, no use anymore. When we first met on that road in sad West Dallas, he was the most beautiful man I'd ever seen, and he loved me so. Even my daddy liked him. He was good all the way down to the bone. Went to serve out his whole term because I asked. I wish he'd stayed there now, or maybe gone to school, or left his kin behind. It was all on goddamn Clyde what happened. We were doomed. I knew it from the start. There was so much to hope for in those dusty early days. His arms around me, all the future still to come. Talking Spanish with the women, Buck imagines William Bonney. Before I found my own ways, I practiced what I heard the kid would do. Use manners, look them in the eyes, whispered serious words. I fell in love most eagerly and married 3 times, their soft mouths, shinin' hair. I never took the time for reading or writing the way the kid could. I reckon him a knowledgeable man, knew how to parlay language of the South. When Billy died, they say, many Spanish women mourned. This poem is from Clyde's point of view. It describes the night he met Bonnie Parker for the first time. Clyde at Buster's party. Clarence brought me, and I was looking round when she walked in. The air itself just turned to something new. Blonde hair flying, firecracker eyes exploring everything. And when she seen me, her face, it just blossomed with clear intentions. I couldn't let the chance pass, stretched out my hand, stood close, brought her next the window so I could show her which was my fancy ride. Talk going on around us, her blue eyes steady, hair full of light streaming in from the porch. After I kissed her, she gave a little smile and crushed near flat agin me when I held her. She no taller than a pony, thought I could have picked her up and run. Heard she had a husband in the joint. She said it weren't real. She was quick as a hiccup, bored in school. What to do in a hole like Cement City when you're hurting for more and nothing ever happens. Never saw another want the same so fierce. To drive and be alive the way we could if we had chances and the world ran right. Bonnie Parker, camera eye. Look in the mirror and look in the mirror and think of the times I thought myself beautiful. All the looks that came my way from strangers, clothing that feels more like tatters than fresh laundered crepe, for a bed to sleep in, a proper cooked meal, time for conversation, a few rolling laughs, someone saying something that takes me back to maybe Dallas or some other town, train whistles or dark birds flying, the rise of the breath, suddenly the loose heart. To drive, load, clean, there are more lives in this plain desperation. Look at the sandwich boards, think of the lives, the faces and hands that promised action in the coat room at the end of a party, the looks on the faces of those on the sidewalks, the dirt roads, the car windows, anyone passing. The evening he looked at me eager and avid for a breakout. The first time I drove with him, I puked right on my dress from the joy of speed. Yes, I said, let's just have everything. Suddenly tired, convinced it comes soon, I falter just briefly, and all the time, in a purse I hid at his mama's house, the note he wrote, calling me the sweetest thing in all the world.
All I know is
And you just heard a wonderful launch by Carolyn Smart at the Tet Center, and a beautiful ending to it with a song by Georgette Fry. As I understand it, was a poem that Bonnie wrote. I believe that is true. Anyway, that was a wonderful event. Let's do this, and I'll be right back.